Today we're going to be making a hockey horn. We're going to turn an old drill or an impact gun into a air horn. Now to do this, you're going to need an old drill and the main thing here is you're never going to be able to use it as a drill or an impact gun again because we're going to gut it. And also the other part that's important here is after you take out this, you have to have 2 inches of opening to fit the little mini compressor that comes with our horn. This is not quite 2 inches around, but it's going to slide. It's going to slide in there where the motor was, and that'll power up our horns. So today we're going to be working with a Black & Decker. This one's together, just kind of show you what we were using. This one here we're kind of in the middle of destroying. And then we have our air horns. This is going to be a 4-banger. We have the air horns, we have the mini compressor, and we have our air line supply. And in here they have a bunch of various small parts and wires. The main thing to remember when you're ordering this, order one with the mini compressor that we can plug directly into that air line. They try selling cheap ones that have like a little motor on them. That is going to do you no good because you have to have a compressor to go into that motor. It's a solenoid, and then that solenoid opens up. It's a pain in the ass, and it's a step you don't need. So get the mini compressor. It's not much more, maybe $1 or $2, and it'll make your life easier. The next thing we're going to do is we already took apart our drill. A lot of these are, they're about half a dozen, maybe up to 10 screws, and you're going to need either a Phillips or where's that? What that price is? Where's the green one? Here it is. Or you're going to need it. A lot of drills use these T10. Get one of these screwdrivers if this is something you're going to do. These are only like a couple bucks, but as you can see, the Torx bit on the end here, it's probably got a little close, but star screw, whatever the hell you want to call it. This is a lot easier to fit in these holes than trying to use a bit on the end of your drill. That's a pain in the ass. So the first step, obviously, is to get a drill. Next step, use your horn, which we've got, and then we took it apart. So here's our drill taken apart. What you're going to need to do is you're going to put that somewhere, bud. Thank you. So we need, in this particular step, we've got, this is our trigger, and we've already cut the motor off. That was these 2 feeds here, positive and negative. Cut the motor off. And basically, this is going to fire up our compressor, which would be that, which will in turn fire up the horns, which are those. So we're going to go ahead and gut these. We have to make that opening wider. The opening's pretty big as it is, but we got to get all these ribs out of here, and we have to get this edge off of here so the compressor fits in nice. It may not fit perfect, but it's going to be close. And if we got a crack too big, like for example, we're going to have to cut these supports out. We'll just fill this in with probably some hot melt glue. And we only got to go back as far as we're sticking the compressor, which in this case is to this rib here. So all this has to come out. So that's going to be our next step. We're going to gut this with a grinder. You can use a Dremel. You could do it by hand if you wanted to with some dikes, but I don't recommend it. That'd take you forever. Grinder or Dremel is going to be your way to go on this. So we're going to cut that out and we'll be right back. Okay, so we're back. We've cleaned out our drill. We've made the hole bigger. We got a approximately 2-inch opening here. And I'm going to show you what the inside looks like right quick. So we gutted all the ribs here, gutted the edge. Obviously, we're going to clean this up a little bit, but just wanted to give you an idea how much grinding we didn't have to do on this drill. Now, I have had some, like a Ryobi and a DeWalt. There's all kinds of little spines in here, and it took me a while, but this one wasn't too bad. This is a Black & Decker, I think it was a Firestorm 24 volt at one time. But once again, the biggest thing here is make darn sure that you have this opening. It has to be 2 inches to fit the drill. Now, the other thing, when you put your compressor in, it's got little appenditures on here. Oh, got that crap everywhere. There's like a tab. Sorry about that. Got a tab here And you got your mounting bolts, and there's a tab here. What I recommend is when you get this thing ground out where you think it's close, you can stick it in and turn it. It may assist you in closing the drill later with the screws. This one here, I wasn't real happy with it first, but this tab here was causing me issue. I just figured out by turning it that it needs to go on the bottom, and it fits in there real nice. So we're going to clean this up a little bit. I'm going to put the compressor in, and we'll be right back again. Okay, so we put our trigger back together, or put it back in. We routed our wire here. So far we're not doing anything exciting, we're just putting it back together. Put our battery connector back in here. And up here is the main thing we're concerned about. We got a positive and a negative wire. So we reach into our little pack of stuff that comes with our horn. And the negative wire is right here, like so. It's got the little clip on there. We're not going to need this harness because that's like if you want to run, that's a solenoid. That's like if you're going to run it from your car and you need to change it, then that's what you would use. In this situation, we just need this yellow wire. Mr. Bryson, if you would, cut this for me, please, sir. Just whack it right there. Whack that yellow wire. Yeah, that's a good spot. Whack it. Whack it. Cut it. What are you doing? Flicking with your finger, you silly shit. Bryson, right here to clippers, bud. Holy, good thing you're a good hockey player, because technically you ain't. Cut it, yellow. Cut it today. Thank you so much. All right, we don't need this, and this will go up in our box of 10 other ones that we got. All right, so we're going to attach this yellow wire, which is going to be our positive, our black wire, which is our negative, to the compressor, and we're going to mount that into the drill itself. Okay, so we have soldered our connections here for the positive and negative. We have our compressor inside. Now, once again, I'm not the greatest welder, or not welder, but solderer. People are going to bitch, oh, look how bad it is. Hey, it works for what I'm doing, bud. You don't even have, if you don't have a soldering gun and you want to just do this crap, you can just tape it and tie it together. I don't recommend doing it that way because I know my wife, when she has this horn, she drops it, and it's not something I want to take apart ever again. So we soldered the wires, and we're going to tape these off here, and we're going to begin putting the drill back together, and we'll be right back again. All right, so we've basically put the wires together. We've inserted the compressor. It fits pretty good. Now, if you get a drill that's a little bit small, you can cut this a little bit and cut the seam here or on the bottom. And then you could also use, because I've done silicone, or we're going to use hot melt glue to hold this thing in there. But you could, if it's just a little bit too small and you can't grind it all the way, use one of those to hold your compressor. And this is going to hold nice, but I'm still going to put a nice bead around this to hold it in there so it doesn't weeble wobble. And we'll be back with that step. Okay, our next step, because we're waiting for our glue gun to fire up, these come in the set of screws comes in the case with the horns. What we're going to do, what we did, this is L-shaped, but because the drill is rounded, we took two pairs of vice grips, or not vice grips, channel locks, and we bent it. So basically, this bracket's going to fit up here, and we're going to drill that into the plastic. I'm going to use self-tapping screws. If you want, you could take and use the stuff provided. You could pre-drill the holes and maybe glue the nuts down and then screw it in. But if you ever want to take this apart and work on it, self-tappers may be the way to go for you. I don't ever intend to take it apart, but I probably will have to at some point. Usually I mount the horn back here, but because the back end of this drill is so small, I don't like it, and it's also got our screw holes here, so once again, I don't like that idea either. So that's why we're going to mount it up here, even though I don't usually mount it up there. Also, when you mount it, you want to mount it so that when you put the horns on, you kind of want the weight of the horns over the front of the drill, So like if you put it this way, it'll wobble a lot. But if you put it more like this, it doesn't wobble as much. We're also going to put hot melt glue underneath here to help hold it in vibration. Once again, we're waiting for the glue gun to warm up. And we'll be back with the final couple steps. Alright, so I have mounted my bracket for the horns. Put a little bit of glue, hot melt glue in there. These are self-tapping screws. Like I said, if you can figure out a better way to do this, by all means. This is a no-all, end-all. I'm just doing this to show you what you can do. Just like this hot melt glue, I use this stuff. It ain't the best looking shit in the world, but it does the job. And I don't know, I think this might be some like automotive stuff. This stuff here is black, and they usually use it for dents. That's what I use. I tried using the white stuff, or clear, I should say. These thick ones. They didn't seem to have the same consistency, so I'm sticking with the black. But use whatever you want to use. I mean, this, like I said, I'm not telling you this is the end-all be-all way to do anything, but it's going to work. So let me grab these horns. We're going to mount them, and then we're going to hook up our air compressor. Okay, last time, I promise. All right, so we've mounted our horns. Couple things I failed to mention. These screws that come in with the kit, not my self-tappers that are down here. These bad boys right here. These are 10 millimeter, by the way. Those do come with the kit, as well as the bracket and the wires. So you will need a 10 millimeter wrench or socket. I highly recommend using the washers, and like I said, the glue is just a little extra hold there. Once again, if you can take these screws and you want to pre-drill your holes before you put it back together and mount these, like glue them up underneath and mount them, hey, by all means. Like I said, this is just suggestions. This just works for me. This is my first 4-banger I've ever made. Usually I make 2 bangers, but I knew with a 24-volt battery, I would have the weight to hold this bad boy up, because this is a big son of a bitch. We're getting ready to fire it up. Now the last step, we've glued this in, we've got this all attached, everything's checked together. I even checked the compressor. This side, we hooked up the compressor before we glued it in. It makes that little noise like that. Plus you want to feel if it pushes air out. You can also, if you leave in your directional down here, you can change that if you wanted to, but I made sure it was in there. I just took the directional out because there's no reason to have it suck if we want it to blow, right? All right, so our last step before we test it is to hook up the air hose. Now this is, once again, this is up to you. They give you a nice piece here. This is probably a foot-long piece. Now, when actuality, it only has to go from this connector here down to this connector. I like to put a loop in it just so I have extra in case, God forbid, my wife drops it or whatever, or somehow cuts the line. I can fool with it. I don't got to take it home and repair it. So, Mr. Bryson, if you would hold this, we're going to hook up the air line. Oh, here, hold the camera. Put your finger up. There you go. Now, keep in mind, if you order one of these, you don't want to get the one with the solenoid. That is where a lot of them have a solenoid attached to this thing. You don't need that. That would be like if you're going to put these on your car, which I'm not going to do, at least not today. That you have power, and then the solenoid releases. That's not really anything we need. It comes with a solenoid on this one, but a lot of these kits have a solenoid built in. I don't recommend you get that one. Alright, so now this, we're just going to kind of loop it here, make it kind of fancy, sort of, kind of. I don't even call it fancy, honestly. You know what? I think she's full of crap. I think we're just going to do that, huh? That look alright?
Yeah.
Yeah. Cut that. So,
is it tested?
It's going to be ready to test when we get this in here. Alright, get in there, bud. Boy. Alright, so that, for all intensive purposes, is our horn. Okay, Now from this point, we're going to go test it, but you can paint it, match your team colors. I'm going to do that. I don't know if I'm going to do it today, but let's go test this thing and see what happens. Get you pointing at that thing. Tell me when you're ready.
All right, ready.
Filming?
Yeah.
All right, this is our first 4-banger. Let's see what happens. That's loud. Turn off.